What's up, guys? It is Carly here, bringing you another random book review video. And yes, this is a little series I do where I read either multiple books that have are from the same series, or I just read one big book and do a review of it. So far, I've just been doing series by R.L. Stine because I have bought a lot of his books, and it's a good way to get myself to read them and put out more content at the same time. So today I'm going to be talking about some Ghosts of Fear Street books. This is pretty much a spin-off series, I guess, of the original Fear Street books, which I'm not too familiar with. Honestly, I've never read those, but this is just one of the spin-offs. I never realized R.L. Stine did a lot of different little book series, some of them related to his other series. I believe there's multiple versions of the Goosebump books as well, and he did some other books too, like The Babysitter and some standalone stuff. So he's done a lot of things. Most of them are for young adults or kids, and I would say the Fear Street ones are more centered around the older kids, where little kids, the Goosebumps are more for the younger kids. These ones are still very kid related, but they have a little bit more maturity to them in the writing. So I have here book number, I have them out of order, but it's 1, 3, and 4. You can see on the spine there. I picked these up at Goodwill, and unfortunately there was no 2, which kind of bothers me because they're almost in perfect order there. But yeah, 1, 3, and 4. So the first books. I'm not too sure how many there are in this series, but these are obviously the first ones. And first up we have the Hide and Shriek one. This is essentially about a girl who moves to Fear Street, and she makes friends with these people at school, and they say that they all get together and play this game of hide and seek in the woods every year. It's sort of a tradition, and there is this ghost boy who had died, and every year he catches someone to basically take over their body and live as them for that year. And it's kind of like a rumor. A lot of people really believe it though and are terrified by it, and the new girl is pretty scared. She doesn't know if it's real or not, and she starts suspecting that some of her friends, or one of her friends rather, might be actually this character, which, forgive me, I forget the name. I actually read this one quite a while ago at this point, but she thinks that one of her friends might have been possessed by the ghost, but she's not 100% sure, and she's not 100% sure if it's all real or not. Real or not. So I will say right off the bat, out of the 3 of these, this was my favorite one that I read, mainly because it felt like the most, I guess, non-ridiculous one. I really do enjoy just typical ghost stories. I felt like it had a good atmosphere. It also just had this vibe to it that kind of reminded me of when I was in middle school. There's certain parts in the book, like where she goes to a sleepover with a bunch of girls and they stay up late and watch a horror movie, and that's where she kind of learns this story of the hide and seek game. I dig all that because it reminds me of when I was a kid and makes me kind of long to go back to that time period. And obviously these books are older. I believe they're from the 90s, so it definitely has like sort of the 90s feel, obviously, since that's the time period they came out in. But so I really enjoyed this one. I thought it had probably the most solid story, the easiest one to picture. That's kind of my thing when reading a story. I want to be able to picture what's happening without it being a jumbled up mess, and that's kind of a problem that I have with these other 2 books. So to get into those ones, the second one, or I guess technically the third book, is The Attack of the Aqua Apes. Now this one is about some kids who get these Aqua apes, which are basically, I'm sure most people in real life know what they are. It's like almost like when you get those capsules and you put them in water and then they grow into something. That's essentially what these Aqua apes are, but these friends decide to use the Fear Streak Lake water to grow their Aqua Apes, and at first, you know, they're growing normal, and then one of them just keeps growing bigger and bigger and bigger, and things kind of take a turn for the worse. This one wasn't too bad. Definitely my second favorite, I guess I could say. I don't remember this one a ton, but you know, the story was alright. Like I said, you know, it's a little bit of a ridiculous story, and I think that's why it doesn't really appeal to me. Again, this is more of a kid-related book, so it makes sense. You know, I'm like 22 years old reading these kid books, so it's probably not going to appeal to me too much, but I did dig the story for what it was, and you know, the characters and all that, so not a bad one, not the best though, obviously. And then after that, finally, we had this one, which was, I just finished this one recently. Actually, it took me forever to get through it because I just kind of didn't have time to read, and I also wasn't all that into it, to be completely honest, and that is Nightmare in 3D. This one is essentially about this kid who, you know, there's those 3D poster books, which I can kind of relate to him because I never could see them either, where you kind of stare at the image and after a while it's supposed to like pop out at you in 3D. I remember my grandma had one of those, and that's what I kind of think of when reading this, and I would get frustrated because it never really worked for me, but that's kind of this kid's problem in this book, is that the 3D image isn't really working for him, and he just longs for it to work because everyone in his family and his friends, they can all see it, and he just wants it to work for him, so of course he wishes for it, and he finally gets his wish, but basically this mantis wants to come to life. It's more lively than he was expecting, you know, kind of wants to be 40, I guess, if you will, and once again, things kind of escalate from there. So, yeah, like I said, this one I couldn't really get into all that much, not like the other ones, and yeah, it took me forever to really read it, so it's kind of one of those things where you go back to it and you don't even really remember everything that you read previously, but it wasn't horrible. Like I said, it's for kids. This one though, like I kind of mentioned how, you know, you want to kind of visualize what's going on. This one is one that I had the most trouble really visualizing it, because the whole concept of just like a 3D poster coming to life didn't really work for me. In my head, it just all kind of looks stupid, and I'm picturing things the wrong way, and that stuff annoys me. That really kind of takes me out of a book every once in a while, which is why I prefer watching movies than reading nowadays. But so I did have a problem with that, but you know, not a bad story. I could see kids enjoying this. Not scary or anything, though, like that. That's the other thing. Like I said, it's a little bit ridiculous, the storyline. Unlike the hide and shriek one, that could actually be creepy because it's more ghostly related, and it sounds like something that could actually happen. Not necessarily happen, but a real sort of rumor in the town, or urban legend, if you will, that goes around the town. So that's kind of why I enjoyed that one the most, but this one was alright, just my least favorite. So there you have it, guys, the Ghost of Fear Street books. Would I pick up more of these? Honestly, probably not, since I only really enjoyed this one the most, and I'm kind of honestly trying to chill on picking up these more kid books though, but they're just fun to kind of collect, and these were obviously in pretty good condition. So probably not the best series by R.L. Stine, but it's not bad either, obviously. I do want to get into the actual Fear Street books, the original books as well. I have a bunch of them piled up back there that I just have not gotten to yet. I've never read any of them, so I am curious on them, but might take a break from that and actually read, you know, an actual adult book. I have a few Stephen King ones as well that I could read and maybe review, and maybe even compare to the movie if I have one that's based on a movie, or you know, a movie adaptation was made out of. So yeah, that is it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you again for watching, and as always, I will talk to you in the next one.